Hello, welcome to this video. Today we're going to do a little demo on the Text2SQL chat demo, which is an open source repository that we prepared to show how you can use our public API to generate SQL from your plain text your end user might type. This video is going to contain 3 parts, but it won't take long, so bear with me. The first one, we will check out the docs for this so we can know what we're talking about. The second one, we go over the application, this little demo application, to see what can be done and where we used what. And the final part we'll take a look at the open source repository code so that we can understand more about it. Okay, so the first part is the actual endpoint that we're going to hit, which is this Generate SQL one. It takes a few parameters, which is like it takes the prompt, that is what the user typed in, takes the connection ID, which is the ID of the database connection. For this, when we are inside of the Text2SQL actual application, we can have our databases and we can add a new database and connect to it. This is really important because then all your queries will have the metadata of the table. So they'll have the columns, they'll have the table names, and then you can ask really specific questions about it, passing this connection ID. So that's possible through our public API. Then we have the runQuery parameter, which if it's true, it will run the query and return the results. We have the limit. In case like you want 10 results or 100 results, we can limit that. And I'll show that in the demo UI. We have the conversation ID. This is, if you are doing a little conversation, it's good that you have a conversation ID so that the AI can remember what was talked about. And we have the mode, which is either one shot or conversational. One shot will like directly get a SQL generation from it. And conversational, the user can ask some questions and interact more with the AI. Okay, this is our endpoint. Now you are familiar with that. Now let's go to the actual application. Here we have a little chat prepared. We have a header where you can go to the API docs, you can go to the GitHub repository, and our chat, and then the options. Here you can see the option for the limit, which is that parameter we just talked about, and for the conversational, which is one shot or conversational, and a little text explaining it. And let's say I passed in this query here. You can see like the message, and then have a little loading state while it's doing the query. And here, as you can see, I immediately got results, and the number of rows wasn't capped because I said 500. If it was less, it would say 100 results and limited because of your limit. So basically here we get a little message, we get the SQL that was returned. We also get behind the scenes what is the database type that is connected here. And this is based on the connection that you have on the real, the full-scale Text2SQL application. And here is our table. We can expand it. If it had more columns, it would become bigger. We can download it. You can see all of its values. This is a public database that I'm using to test. And in here, let's say I want to limit this, just so you can see. I can give it the same query, and then it will run. Let's just wait a little. And then here, 100 results found. We can see that the limit applied. And here on the bottom, we explain to the end user. Okay, so let's go over real quick on the repository. Here we are. Actually, let me just pull that here. Here we are on the repository. Just so you are familiar with it, this is a Next.js application, since that's what most of the people use nowadays. We have a hook for the use Text2SQL, which basically has all of the types, the params that we want to pass with, and we make a request to generate the SQL. We have a backend route, which is what's called from that hook. This is necessary because you don't want to show your API keys on the public frontend. So yeah, this is basically for this. So we can hide the API key and the connection ID. if you want to have a connection ID on your application. It's not mandatory. And then we hit the Generate SQL endpoint, a really simple backend route. And then here on the layout, basic stuff. And then on the page, we have our header and then our chat interface, which is what's more interesting. So let's go over that. On the chat interface, we have Zustand set up. If you want to use that, it's a really lightweight store library that we can add messages, update messages, really take care of all this state for our application. And when the user sends a message, we add the message to Zustand, and then we send the backend route to generate SQL. And then when it returns, it gives us an answer. We add the message, or we add an error message for that. Here, if you want to use like this UI for your actual application, it's all using ShadCN and all the latest stuff. So it's really easy to customize and do as you please. Here you have the message lists, which just takes an array of messages, and then we can show here's the empty state and then the messages. We have a little loading message. If you enjoy that, it looks really good. You can use it in your application. And then for our message, this is the final part that we go over, which is we have the actions to like the copy to clipboard. We have this function to format and highlight the code. As I told you before, the API, the Generate SQL API, returns the database type so that you can pass that to these functions. Like this one uses SQL formatter and then Prism SQL to actually format and highlight the code, break it down into multiple lines and so on. You can use that. The code is here. And besides from that, we have our little, which is actually a quite good component, which is the query results table. This one takes the rows as we return from the SQL. And it's a really powerful component. It's that one that you see here, which you have like the number of rows, you have that warning. It's properly set up for multiple columns. It can expand to a dialog for the user to see. It can download to CSV. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this makes it easier for you to integrate our public API to your application. See ya.